All right, welcome back to the Built to Grow podcast. I'm your host, Tim Lyons, joined in studio today by Randy Hingston. What's up, man?
We're back.
Back in town from an amazing event. We're going to do a quick recap on our Maryland experience. I'm going to give you guys a little behind-the-curtain kind of description of what we do at these Iron Circle experiences, because they're special.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it leaves folks, not just fired up, but more clear. The network and all that's great, but I think everybody kind of takes home what they need to take home and go, and hopefully it goes a tax. I mean, I'm not worried about this group taking action. Obviously, they're in that group for a reason. You have to be at a certain amount to even be in that room. And we just absolutely had a great time. It's 3 days, so we get there on a Thursday, we leave on a Sunday morning, and we do the whole thing. So let's just kind of walk through what kind of the highlights were.
Yeah.
What do you think the highlights were?
Well, before we dive in there, just to speak to the taking action part, that's one of the things that really impressed me with the group coming out of this event already. I mean, for those listening, it's Tuesday. Excuse me. We traveled back yesterday. We had an extra day with our travel. And all day yesterday, the group was already talking about what they've accomplished. Some have already set up their meetings, and we'll get into on what those look like and things like that. But the action has already taken place. Before they got home, they all had the information, but they've already started swinging the hammer. And that, to me, is the biggest thing. It's not, like the hangover of a seminar, right? Where people get home and they're like, oh, okay, I intend to do that, or I intend to do. No. This group is already making massive moves one day after being home.
Yeah, and that's a testament to the group, but that's the point of this group, is that they're action takers.
Yeah.
And so let's get into it. So Thursday night, we kind of get in. We do our thing called the campfire. It started several experiences ago. It's really a chance to break the ice, get to know folks. I mean, there's a lot of new people in the room. Played a cool game called Werewolf.
Yeah.
And really the point of the Werewolf, game is to explain and show how the informed minority always beats the uninformed majority.
Correct.
The way it works is, there's 5 werewolves in a group of 45 people, so there's 10%, little more than 10% of the group. But effectively, without knowing who the werewolves are, the villagers have to select who they think the werewolves are, and it goes around one at a time. And at night, the werewolves pick a villager to choose. Everybody wakes up, somebody gets eliminated, and then the villagers and the werewolves get to also throw people in the mix to
As to
eliminate
who they think are the werewolves.
Yeah, and was very clear. Like, it was I thought maybe there would be 3 or 4 werewolves chosen and killed, sure. But not one werewolf was ever chosen in the entire game.
Yeah.
And that just shows you, like, hey, the group think of, and I kind of related it back to the fitness industry, the group think of the majority of the people out there. If you look at the guy across the street who has no clue what they're doing and you just start copying the uninformed, well, you're going to lose to the informed minority, which I truly believe that Iron Circle, the Mastermind, this group of 45 gym owners, they're the informed minority.
Yeah.
Well, they're obviously the minority because there's 36,000 gyms in the United States, whatever, and there's only 45 of these gyms. But why do these gyms excel 10 times further than the standard gym owner? Mm-hmm. It's because they're informed.
Yep. Yeah, it's access to the information and then the action that follows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's clear.
Yeah.
So that evening, we also had our guest speaker for the next day, Gino Wickman, who's the founder of EOS Worldwide, the book Traction, Get a Grip, as fellows. He's been a co-author in several other books. He just, he hung with us the whole night, the night before. He wasn't really even on the clock. He had dinner with us, got the chance to meet with a bunch of people, and then he played the werewolf game with us.
Yeah.
And then we went into kind of our 3-year visions, and, I kind of walked people through kind of going down the road and looking back and what have you accomplished and writing things down and putting them in order. And he actually shared his goals with us as well, which is super cool.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. I mean, especially for somebody, at a level like that. Works with, he's got, 250,000 businesses that have implemented EOS, whether it be self-implemented or with one of his coaches, with him, as he was initially in that seat doing it himself, which is, again, another unique thing that he himself taught the group rather than one of the hundreds of coaches, thousands of coaches he has. But for him to be vulnerable, him to share things, I mean, he didn't have to do that,
No.
you know, and he met everybody at the level that we all were at. I mean, it was a personal thing for everybody in the seat, and he shared exactly what his 3-year goal is and vision.
Yeah, and I got a chance to talk to Gino. A lot of people, it was about 70-30 that had known who Gino was before this event. Many had read the book. They know of Traction. They know of EOS. But the fact that he was there with us, spending, a day and a half, technically, right? Or a full day with us, meant a lot, because I had a conversation with him before everything kind of kicked off. And he's like, yeah, man, I only do 4 or 5 events a year myself.
Yep.
And I was like, really? He's like, I hand select who I work with. I don't need to work for everybody, obviously. He's a special guy, and he just knew our group was the right group for him, which was kind of an honor in a way. I didn't know that at the time. He told me at that event, I was like, holy cow, really?
It comes back to, like I draw the tangent to the gym owner, right? You're in fulfillment, you're doing the work every day, but it's a limiting. There is a ceiling there, right? When you're in fulfillment of everything. Gino made a decision to build a business of other leaders that are implementing his business methodologies and putting the other people in the seat. Now he's doing bigger, massive things that he would never be able to do if he was the one coach in every business. He wouldn't have 250,000 businesses running his thing.
No.
He'd have 25.
Right.
And that's the same mentality that a lot of gym owners find themselves in, is they have to do the work. Back to Mike McAllowitz, right? Your job as a business owner is job fulfillment, is job creation, not fulfillment. And so, like, even seeing that in his personal journey and growth, you see the ripples that it makes. And I think it's important for gym owners to see that also, because it shows what's possible, even on something as, foreign or unrelatable as, like, building a business around business systems. You know what I mean? But he's not the one doing it. And he still has the luxury of making the choice to go work with somebody.
That's the case. Yeah, that's
just like a gym owner.
That's the asterisk. He chose to be there, which was super cool, because I didn't ask him this, but I'm gonna take a wild guess. He's never done an event like this.
Sure.
He's always on stages.
Yep.
He's working in corporations, in massive, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 employee corporations, talking about leadership teams and stuff, and now he's down here hanging out with us in this living room, kind of hanging. So that was a special deal. Everybody got a signed book, got a big photo with everybody, and so, like, the next day was his day. First whole half of the first morning, for hours, we just went through the EOS tools in the system in general, and people were peppering him questions, clarifying everything, and it was really cool because it was interactive, right?
Yeah.
And for these bigger name speakers, they always love the interaction. They don't have to just sit up there and preach, because they want to. What really feeds them is drilling down, and he challenged a lot of folks.
Absolutely,
he challenged them, and so that was cool for just the chance to meet him. Learn from him, get the book, get the photo, hang out the night before and do the whole thing with him. It was really slick. So that was like the first half of day 2. And then in the afternoon, we did breakouts. We kind of dove into some of the things that are working in our gyms, etc. And then we kind of kicked off capped the night off with little Olympics, which was, the things that we do at these Iron Circle events, the cheesiest things always are the most fun.
Yeah.
So we've had magicians and card guys and, comedians come up and just kind of blast everybody. I totally love that style. But this competition effect, I am pretty sure we're going to carry this Olympics to the next one if we can pull it off. But, half of the battle is the venues and the speakers, but then the other entertainment that we have to put together. And plus get the right people in the room. It's just a whole formula, right? A recipe that we've created. But it was so much fun to see, dodgeball and just those big bumper ball things, egg toss at each other in the competition, and really enjoyed that. Kind of finished off what did we do that day 2 evening? Just kind of hang out in the pub a little bit.
Yeah, that was kind of the finish of each of the nights, was like, just a deep dive into the networking, and that's the cool thing, right? It's not networking. It's not like you put everyone in a room and then all of a sudden the tangents and the conversations go to random things. Like, there's that hub of business. There's a hub of, like, you know, when somebody walks up and you're meeting them for the first time, their question is, you know, hey, what's next for you? Or what's your challenges? Or what can I help you with in your business? And so it's constantly keeping the purpose and the premise throughout like the 3-4 days entirely. It's all about just moving the needle of your business and how that ties to your personal life and goal and dreams and things like that. So that to me is some of my favorite component is hearing the conversations take place when it's not just hearing from somebody on stage, right? It's the person who's a couple steps down the path that you want to go down, and they're willing to give you anything that's going to help you get there.
Our group is developed on sharing.
Yes.
You know, there's no secrets here, which, you know, the new folks coming in, because we just signed up, 18 new gyms that came in. This is their first kind of experience with Iron Circle, and they fell right into place. They're sharing shit. You know, there's no secrets. It's awesome. There's no competition in this room. I've been in a lot of masterminds. I've been in different industry masterminds. I've definitely been in the fitness industry masterminds, and a lot of people are afraid to share anything.
Yeah. And that was
weird, right?
That came up with one of the newbies. I won't say who, but he said outright, he said, you guys created an environment that I'm willing to share things I wouldn't tell my mother.
Interesting.
Like, about his business. Like it's numbers on paper, right? Like we're all in it for what it creates, but even that discomfort around talking about your business, talking about what your monthly revenues are, where are your expenses, what is your personal pay? All of these types of things, most people have resistance and aren't willing to share that stuff with other business owners.
It's important to be able to share with somebody. If you keep that stuff to yourself as a gym owner, you'll never. It'll be bottled up, and it'll create an outlash on something else. So the fact that we've got an outlet for folks to kind of share, which I'm totally all about that. That's kind of the whole point of this thing is sharing. So. We have our chef in-house, Chef Dave. He's a good friend of ours. He hung out and basically made gourmet meals every single meal. Yeah. From custom omelets to steak and everything else. Yeah. So day 3. Now we're into the Saturday morning. We had another speaker come out. Somebody that nobody had ever heard of. His name is Christopher Carter. He comes from the corporate world of how to read body language.
That was part of the Friday night. He joined us before. He showed up Friday night, and then that was part of what we were doing in the pub and the conversations. He started to get into some of his abilities and things like that, and that was where Friday night kicked off too. Yeah,
that wasn't planned. That was just something he jumped in. He's a magician, illusionist. But what's really cool was the very first thing he did. If I remember this correctly, we brought him in to help us look at body language, how to tell if somebody's telling the truth, how to understand and read a room to where, you can tell what people are thinking and kind of leverage that into our sales approach, etc. He kind of worked on, how to present, and there's a lot of things that he's great at. But what he did that kind of blew minds was he was able to read people's minds. Yeah. In a couple different ways. Yeah. The first way he, basically had people pick a card, don't tell anybody, and he just told them what the card they were thinking. Yeah. He would name off the cards and would watch their eyes, and if they would twitch or lean or do something or shift or something that he's already figured out about this particular person, random. Yeah. He would say, all right, you have a 10 of hearts, you have a 7 of clubs, you have a 3 of clubs, and you have a king of diamonds. And everybody's like, yeah.
What?
And so that was just a cool way. I mean, he's, I think there's a lot more to learn on how to do that, but he was sharing, some of the body language of how to understand folks. That afternoon, we did some kind of what we do every event. We do some hot seats, which we've got a really cool format that our friend John has kind of put together that keeps us on track. That is the absolute most important thing. Is you got to have a framework structure, and timers, and you can't ramble. You got to get right to the point. And we did it so efficiently that we were able to get 2 extras in the time allotted, which is a beautiful thing. Kind of announced a little bit that we're bringing Lindsay on the team, and then we had a little break. We had a little break because we had a special event that evening that I did not tell anybody about. We brought in Joe White and the Firewalkers Institute, and we did a pretty cool. We did a ceremony with the fire, and then we kind of brought everybody into the room, and people just shared. I mean, we we filled out some stuff and kind of threw it into the fire. We want to let go, and then we did a little like how to walk through it. But you know, there were some breakthrough moments. I won't get too deep into that. You know, what people were sharing. Obviously, it's personal. But then we went out, walked on some fire coals, and people bonded, and it was amazing.
Yeah, and the takeaway there, I mean, it has to be real. Like we talk about the logic of things, and you know, that there has to be a system involved and all of this stuff. But when it comes to like doing the actual work, if you don't have an emotional attachment or a reason, right? Like everyone goes, oh, what's your why? Well, we all know we just need to do more. But like the deeper you're connected to that why, the mission, the real things that mean something to you, the work doesn't feel like work as much, right? Like you're excited to go do that as opposed to like resentment or pushback on it. And I think that was the big takeaway was we had the logic with Gino, the structure, the cadence, and a lot of the tactical changes. And then through the fire walking ceremony was like, okay, well, here's why you have to go do all of the things we just covered, right? And it got people out of their own way. And everybody's takeaway was just, it was a massively eye-opening. It gave them approval, like we talk about, right? And it was putting certain things to bed. What is the pain that you've carried forward that you don't need to carry any further, right? We've all had things in our lives that were impactful that we still allow to hold us back in a way. And it was releasing that and coming out of the end of that walk a transformed individual.
Yeah,
and
very cool.
Yeah, I mean, mind blowing. And we're still hearing 5 minutes ago. We were still hearing people's thoughts around that, what it did for them, and I'm sure that's going to continue. I'm excited to see the results of the combination of all of it. Yeah,
very, very cool bonding, sharing, growth, clarity, all of it wrapped into 2.5 full days out in a beautiful estate out on the coast of Maryland, a farmhouse. Almost 90% of the people were able to stay at the house. We did have to have one overflow Airbnb that was like walking distance over. And gosh, I mean, these are the best part of the Iron Circle is getting people in person, kind of being able to shut off. Half the phones doesn't work. They don't work out there anyway. So the fact that you can kind of like pseudo unplug. I know a lot of people were still getting stuff done for work, but we've created this, and it's very intentional. Like we really take a systematic approach to developing these experiences, as well as the growth summits themselves and all of our events. I'm very like by hour what happens next and who goes first and what's after that, and keeping things a secret, and the food and where we're at and everything else is all by design. And a lot of people are like, I don't know how you keep doing this stuff, but like it's not that hard for us. Like it's because it's what I would want. Honestly, I am a gym owner just like everybody else, so the fact that I know what you want isn't that far-fetched. I know what you want because I want the same things. Like it's not like I'm trying to come up with it I wonder what a gym owner would really want in this situation.
Yeah.
I know exactly what the gym owner want in this situation. So the Iron Circle right now is closed. We're not taking any more applications per se to join until next January. So that was something I did want to share. If you're listening to this, oh my God, I want to get in on that. Of course you do. I mean, I would love to have you, but we got to just have you kind of get in line. There's ironcircle.net. Ironcircle.net. You can go and kind of apply, get first in line. I think there's like 4 or 5 people already submitted, and that's great. And maybe the time that January comes around, you're not for you or whatever. Things change. Totally get it. But we are willing to take applications at this point if you want to be kind of first in line. So for January, and then our next event after this one, we're going to do something in Q1, late February. That's still in the works, and then we have our Vegas experience. It's actually in Boulder City, out at this Pirates Cove. It's going to be essentially it's like you're living on a pirate ship. Pirates of the Caribbean for 3 days. Speakers to be announced. That's in the end of May. And then, we go right into the Growth Summit again in Nashville, and we're right back to it. So lots of stuff coming up in 25. Wanted to share this great experience. We just came back while it's still fresh. Iron Circle people that you're listening, I know this is still fresh for you. And so we'd love to kind of hear from you guys. Well, we actually have a survey going out. It's going out today. So we'll know exactly how you feel. So fill that out. Fill that out if we're not going to send you an email. So that's it. Anything else you want to add to the experience overall?
No, I mean, just whether it be the Iron Circle, whether it be our accelerator group, whether it be something outside of something we offer, we talk about finding your tribe, about, the journey of the entrepreneur often feels like the island. And so my challenge to every one of you listening is just make sure that you're doing something to put yourself in a place where you have a group that's willing to pull you when you need to be pulled, that's providing you with a safe place to be vulnerable, because that's what really leads to a lot of these transformations. The best part about that group is, like, you walk in, I mean, they're gym owners. They're all, strong, driven, motivated, confident, like typically you put a lot of those people in the room and there's butting heads, there's egos, there's none of that in this environment. And as unique as that is the purpose of a lot of groups. And so if right now, you can't get in the Iron Circle, just find your tribe, even if it's outside of fitness, just make sure that you have people that you can talk to get some of this at some level. That's going to be, I think, invaluable for any business owner.
Yeah.
If you feel like you're on the island, you don't need to be, but you need to take the choice to not be on the island, right? Find the other people that are doing the things that you want to do, and just close the proximity. Find your community.
Great point. Yep. Awesome. All right. Well, then we'll end on that. That's it for this episode. Hopefully that helped you guys understand what a little bit behind the scenes is. Let's go attack, I guess. Go attack the end of the year. We're Q4. Go finish up. All right. So that's it for this episode. Until next time, keep changing lives. We'll see you on the next show. Bye. All right. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Built to Grow podcast. If you want more help growing your business, join our free Facebook group, Profit Accelerator, helping training gyms grow to $30,000 a month and beyond. We'd love to see you there. Go check out the show notes for the link and keep building something great. And we'll see you in the next episode.